Good morning. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's woken up. I hope everybody's hydrated on this Monday. Now, for some of you that know me know that Mondays are usually my Fridays of the work week. So today is my Friday of the work week, that is. But it's still Monday. So Monday is Monday. So, excuse me. Yesterday we talked about I lost it again. I did a video before this and I checked back on my story just to come back and forget again what we talked about yesterday. Release season and releasing and what needs to be done. Now I'm going to give you the breakdown on intermittent releasing. That is my theory. That is my thing. Because I do intermittent fasting as well. So I was like, well, let's do some intermittent releasing. Because you don't want to release all at once. You don't want to get rid of things all at once. Because when you do, you're going to start to, your spirit, your body, and all that, you could go into shock. And what I mean is when you go into that type of shock, it can numb you. You want to be aware. You want to be able to have some form of will, which is some form of control over yourself. And when you have that, you'll be able, you're much better to remove her. You're much better to choose and pick and actually have something. Now, I know that for my girlies and boilies that sometimes you just can't help but to explode, but you got to start training and treating yourself. Start with the basics. Start small. I do my own spa days. Every week, I make sure that I thoroughly, clean my body. I thoroughly add lotion or whatever I have, and I just pay attention to the details of my body. That is what pleases me. That is what helps me keep myself grounded because I am caring for myself, and it just makes me feel good. Little steps like making your bed every day. I haven't even made my bed every day, baby. I'm gonna be honest about that because I get up and go. I get up and go. This the first thing I do is get up and go. But I do clean and all that stuff. But those are the little things. The little things is really going to help you because the little things build up to bigger things, and the bigger things build up to the extreme explosions that you may have because you allowed it to build. Once you recognize this and realize, but yeah, like I said, once you recognize this and realize this, then it's like, okay, what's going to serve me by starting with the basics, starting small. Don't do this thing where you go for the bigger things and rush yourself because when you do that, it's going to overwhelm you anyway. Start small. Start with the basics. Start small. Like I said, making your bed, that's a small step. That's one piece of the day. But when you get back home, you're going to be so pleased, like, oh, I made that bed. Look at that bed. Look at that bed. Meal prep, that's a small basic step you could do during release season that is going to please you. Just little pleasures that's going to keep you grounded, that's going to keep you stable during this time. And what I mean when I say intermittent release is taking 15, 20, 30 minutes out of the day, or maybe you have an hour to just journal, write things down, play it out. If you have to have that conversation amongst yourself, or maybe, or what have you, it would be beneficial for you to get a professional therapist or a spiritual therapist. Spiritual therapists are very much real and they very much are like our therapists, but they give you more direction on the spiritual side. They can also educate you on what regular therapists do, but at the same time, us in the spiritual, that we get a different spectrum. Especially if you get somebody that knows what they talk about, that knows their body. What you want to do is getting to know and introducing yourself to your body. Know what it wants. Know what you want. During this release season, the reason I'm breaking certain sides down today is to get you to understand that there are different views of you. There are different sides of you that you need to understand to keep yourself aligned. There's the spiritual side. There's the physical side. There's the I know I'm not thinking of it right. I was about to say metaphysical side, but there's different dimensions to you, and once you get to know all of you, it's a lot more easier during the season. I just got done talking to a wonderful lady last night. She's also a supporter of mine as well. Um, those ladies of you with children, shout out to you, especially if you're a single parent. It is not going to be an easy season. However, there is something definitely in store for you. My basics that I start with when it comes to my spirit, especially if I'm carrying another new spirit, I make sure I keep myself prayed over. Now, me, I grew up in a Christian household. But I grew up in a Christian household, so I have a King James Version Bible. I have study Bibles. I have different versions of Bibles that they have bought me over the years, my family. And so I will say that I don't reject Christian beliefs. I don't reject faith. I reject the judgment, and I reject the people that just make it the worst experience ever because they cannot comprehend a damn thing. But I digress. I have a King James Version Bible, and I have different versions of the study Bible. I have different versions of study on my phone as well. Um, if you're Muslim, or if you're Christian, or if you're Buddhist, you have different scriptures of protection that you could use. I always, I use Psalms 94 as an example. Last night, I had opened it up for my spiritual openness, my reading for myself, and I incorporate the Bible on that as well because I mean it's just easier to dissect faith, if that makes sense. I'll have to explain that another day, but I read Isaiah 48. Yeah, that's what it was. Just a random opening that speaks to me. And when I opened it up, the first chapter I seen was Isaiah 48. So I would definitely recommend y'all to study that. If you have a Bible, or if you have if you have a Holy Bible, Christian Bible, whatever you want to call it. I have the King James version, but if you have a different version, it is in Isaiah 48. And I was just taking my notes, and I was just looking through it, and I just felt like not only is this rest and rejuvenation season, this is also a season of realignment, reintroducing yourself to your faith, reintroducing yourself to God, reintroducing yourself to many people that help you stay grounded. Some of you need to reintroduce yourself to your family, reintroduce yourself to your faith, realign yourself. Now, I'm not going to tell you you have to go Christian. I'm not going to tell you you have to go Muslim. I'm not going to tell you you have to go Buddhist or whatever other faith there is. I'm telling you to do what's right for your spirit during this time, because it's very important for you to be aligned, especially when things are just so, tensions are high. People are angry. They don't understand and people don't understand their anger. People don't understand what's going on other than, you know, the distractions we have. And of course, it's hot outside really bad. The heat will make anybody mad, I'll be honest. But that's just what this season's about, so it's time for you to release and get it out. But having the discipline in distributing and getting it out correctly is the goal, is the challenge. It's what needs to happen. But I just want to shed a little light on intermittent releasing. My basics, just me, meditation. I take the time to journal. I get one of those calendar looking journal things, and I write, I read, I listen to music. Dancing dancing is a big reliever, especially when it comes to just shaking it out of your body. I think I have some video on YouTube that I watch, and they explain it a little bit better than I can. Some people like to go to the gym and exercise. That's a good form of release. Just like I said, start with the basics. Start with the basics. And back to my point about the single mothers that are carrying a another spirit. This is the most vulnerable time right now. Even when you've already had the child, it could be 4, 5, 6 years down the line already. During release season, during any type of heavy spiritual season, you definitely need to get align your faith, and you need to make sure that you have protection tools surrounding you and your children. You don't have to have a lot. You ain't gotta have candles. You ain't gotta have all that stuff. Sage and all that stuff. All those things help. But once you have, it's kind of like a diet. You are what you eat. In this case, you are what you believe. You are what you say. And you're going to have to do the work, the shadow work, and keep yourself aligned. It takes a heavy, heavy focus. It takes heavy focus. But once you get it, once you have a rhythm, once you are able to grasp it, hold on to it, you can do anything, mamas. Anyway, that's the message for today. I hope everybody has a blessed and wonderful day. I love you guys. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your responses. I appreciate it. And I hope this helps somebody. If not, hey, you're welcome to share this. You're welcome to share. I don't mind.